The 1860s. High atop the jagged, mist-shrouded peaks of Ethiopia, a man stands silhouetted against the sky. History would record his birth name as Kassa Hailu, but the world would tremble at the name he took as sovereign, Emperor Tewodros II. He was a visionary trapped in the wrong century, dreaming of a unified Ethiopia and a nation that stood as an equal to the empires of Europe. But dreams require allies, and when the emperor reached out to Queen Victoria with a letter of friendship, his hand was met with a cold, deafening silence. To a king of Tewodros's pride, this silence was not just neglect, it was an insult to the Solomonic bloodline. Seeking to force the British Empire to acknowledge Ethiopia's sovereignty, he detained the British consul and several Europeans at the fortress of Magdala. Tewodros did not seek blood, he sought respect. But the British responded not with a diplomat, but with a hammer. General Sir Robert Napier was dispatched, leading a massive expeditionary force of 32,000 men and thousands of pack animals, including elephants, hauling heavy artillery through the treacherous mountain passes. On April 10, 1868, on the plains of Aroge, below the looming shadow of Magdala, two worlds collided. On one side stood the British, a machine of industrial warfare armed with the new breech-loading Snyder Enfield rifles. On the other side stood the Ethiopian warriors armed with courage and traditional shields. Tewodros pinned his hopes on Sebastopol, a massive mortar forged by his own craftsmen, but the giant remained stubborn and failed to fire. Despite the technological gap, the Ethiopian soldiers charged like lions into a storm of lead. But bravery cannot stop a bullet that fires 10 times a minute. The plains were soon choked with the thick, acrid smoke of gunpowder and the blood of patriots. The battle was lost, and as the British closed in, General Napier issued a final command.
Alive!
Bring me the Emperor alive.
Yes!
To the British, Tewodros was to be a trophy, a captive to be paraded through the streets of London. But inside the fortress, Tewodros II was writing his own ending. He did not flee, and he did not beg. He reached for a pistol, an ivory-handled gift sent to him years earlier by Queen Victoria herself. The emperor looked out over his kingdom one last time, the howling mountain wind whistling through the stone ramparts. His philosophy had always been simple. Death is a bride to be embraced before surrender is ever tasted. "O people of Ethiopia," he seemed to whisper, "today I pay the price for your dignity." He placed the barrel of the pistol against his mouth and chose the darkness of the grave over the shame of a golden cage.
Keep moving! Find him!
A single shot rang out, followed by a jarring silence. When the British finally breached the summit, they found only a corpse. They sacked Magdala and looted its treasures, but they could not steal the emperor's pride. By his own hand, Tewodros ensured that a king of Ethiopia would never be led in chains. Today, Magdala sits in a quiet, haunted peace, but the spirit of Tewodros II echoes in every valley. He fell for the honor of his people, and his sacrifice became the seeds of resistance that would bloom at the Battle of Adwa decades later. He was the man who preferred the earth to the chain, leaving the world with one final cry: "I refuse for the sake of the black people."